What's going on? What's going on? Yes, sir. Back at it again with another video. So I can ask the same session. But, it's your boy Dcentos. I'm here with my main man, Straw Hat Yomo. Say what's up to the people, man.
Yo, yo, yo. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Straw Hat Yomo. Letting y'all know that I hate group projects. So letting y'all know that group
Uh,
projects are, they could be good, they could be bad. You just make sure y'all get some good group members. But yeah.
my man on one, man. Talk to him nicely. Talk to him nicely.
Yeah, talk to me nicely. Don't you better respect yourself.
Uh-huh. All right. Okay. So as you can see on the screen right now, we got we're gonna review the next show from the winter season. This is Jobless Reincarnation. I think the Japanese name is Mokushoku Tensei
Mm,
Isekai
mm,
Itara Honki Dasu.
mm.
How's my pronunciation?
Man, spinning them bars right there.
Yes, sir. All right, Jobless Reincarnation. All right, man. All right, okay. Where do we? Well, where do we start this off? Okay, before we start, I want to say this. Back when we did our winter anime preview, I actually had one guy comment about this show, and in his comment,
Hmm.
he said that this is like one of his favorite isekai shows. He was saying that this is like the Godfather of all isekai shows. This kind of started the genre isekai, and it's like really amazing. And because of his comment, I remember that, and I kind of took that in going to this show. And I gotta say, you know what, he might have been on to something. So this show, it starts off with I don't actually know his real name, but it's an isekai, and he dies because he's like a loser or whatever. But
Yeah.
reborn into a world, and his name is Rudius Greyheart. And essentially, this world is a world of magic, knights, magicians, demons, devils, all that nonsense. And he's basically, he has like a second shot at life. He is give me 1 second.
There you go. Yo, so now that Dcentos is gone, it's now for me to go ahead and let y'all know what's going on. So, um, I don't really know what to say, but let me just say that this show is pretty good. I really do enjoy Jobless Reincarnation. I think y'all see right now. I got an 8.43. Y'all already know the show's a fire. So
All right, yeah, I'm
yeah.
back. I'm back.
All right, all right. I was just telling people that the show is fire, but go ahead and continue.
My fault. Mama Duke had to tell me something. But
Mm.
where was I? Yeah, I mean, so Rudy is Greyheart. He's reborn. He's in this world, and basically, it's it's a show where you have a guy he's like 30 years old. He has a 30-year-old mind, but he's a kid now, and he's growing up, and he has to like learn how to use like magic or whatever, right? And this show starts off um in a way you kind of don't know what to expect almost, because usually I feel like a lot of shows,
Yeah.
even like isekai shows, they are very I guess narrative heavy, or you kind of understand what's gonna happen. Like, okay, this person is being born into this world for this purpose, to defeat the Demon King. And we don't know if that's the purpose for this show, but the first couple of episodes of this show was just him being born and him meeting his parents, and him just like, kind of trying to learn the world, trying to learn the language, trying to learn how to use magic. So it is a very it's a very interesting show. I would say this is like in the fantasy genre. He's just, it's a great thing about this show is that it kind of makes you want to learn more about the world. You're really interested in what kind of like what lays behind this world, and like what's kind of going on. So I mean, I think that's like one of the strong points of the show. So I think so in this world, I think there are like five major like like just like points into adulthood. Like they celebrate birthdays in fives. You remember that? It's like 5 years old, they'll celebrate that
Oh, I
birthday.
forgot about that.
It was
Yeah,
like
they
10
do.
years old, and then 15, and then by 15 you're an adult. So
Yeah, that is true.
the first major plot point is Rudy is trying to get a mage instructor, and the mage instructor's name is Roxy.
Mhm.
So essentially, Roxy is she basically is trying to teach Rudius how to use magic, and at first we think Rudius has like a main character syndrome because we find out that he can actually use magic without incantations. He can kind of just do it off will. So now you think he's like some like overpowered Kirito type, but I mean he's just learning magic. Like he does what he does, and and Roxy's like a great teacher. I mean there's a little bit like fan service in there, but it's really great content. Like it like and maybe you can help me with this. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like what I'm describing sounds very like basic, and it sounds very like nothing that you wouldn't see in another type of isekai. But I don't know. I think this show just does a great job with the world building, and I think it does a lot with Rudius's internal narration because oftentimes he's conflicted with a lot of issues as in an 8-year-old or 5-year-old or 7-year-old body, or however old he is. But he has a 30-year-old mind, so it's kind of interesting to kind of see I guess kind of like that back and forth, or that kind of like contrast in terms of what a normal kid would do and in terms of what he's doing. So I think it was pretty cool to see that. I think to say the least. What do you think?
Yeah, going into the show, I didn't really expect too much about it. I heard that it was good, but again, it's another isekai, and really, I don't know what show started off this isekai trend, but like, there's just been back to back isekai, isekai, isekai. So once you've seen really like a few of them, you kind of seen them all, to be honest. So you're just like, what else can this show bring? It's very stereotypical of another isekai where you have someone come to another world either by they died or they got teleported or whatever. But just like you said, this main character, he got teleported into this world, so that was like pretty standard. But I think what stood out with this show was that, one, I remember when we were watching we were watching it and making a review for this, or like a review for, what was it, winter 2021.
Right.
We saw the trailer for the show, and I was like, "Yo, the animation is pretty good."
Hmm.
And then I clicked on the studio, and I think this was the first time ever making an anime, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm kind of skeptical on this, but I'll check it out." And so I was a little bit interested with that, but when I was watching it, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain like what this show did, like what it did differently, but it nailed what isekai was supposed to be. I think you, just like you said, this is like the grandfather of all isekai. You can definitely tell, like, yo, this one didn't really
Hmm. Like
in aspects of other shows. It really did feel like original and wholesome when it came
yeah.
to that. So that's what I really enjoyed
Yeah.
when it came to
Mhm.
the
And
Jobless
yeah,
Reincarnation.
yeah. And there's no like gimmicks. There's no like isekai
No,
gimmicks. That's the thing in the show. It's not like he's surrounded like by a whole bunch of like attractive women, or he's like
maybe not yet, but
maybe not
yeah.
yet. I mean, but he's not really overpowered. Like he's kind of just like a normal person. It's almost like I almost kind of I don't want to call this show slice of life, but it's like this is Rudy's gray heart and this is his life. Like that is like
Yeah.
the initial premise of the show. And it's kind of like a Witch Elena, if you guys have seen that, where it's a show that you know the world building kind of carries the story. Each
Mhm.
episode you're learning more and more about the world, and Rudis is learning it, the main character, as same as you are, and he's trying to like apply some of the stuff he learned from his old world. I remember like in one of the early episodes, he had a friend who was being bullied. So I mean he kind of taught a lesson to the bullies, not to bully people. I remember he had like another scenario with his father, where his father was like being like a bad person. Well, not necessarily a bad person, but his father wasn't listening to Rudius as a kid, and what he had to say. So he kind of had to school his own dad. So I mean, it's just it was
Yeah,
yep, like it
I
was it,
remember that.
it was just very interesting to see and very interesting to watch. So I gotta really give him credit for the show. Uh, you know, to shoot
Yeah,
great overall, and that's just like the first half of the show. I mean, because the show does start to progress where now he essentially he gets a job, and he basically has to teach like just basically his cousin, right? Is that his cousin?
So it's his yeah, it is his cousin. I think it is his cousin. Well,
Yeah,
ew.
I'm pretty sure it
I
is.
just thought ew.
Yeah, pretty sure
Now I
it's.
thought about it, because he's trying to yeah, okay. Ew, I
Uh,
didn't think about that.
he has to teach his cousin magic, and there's more to the story, and it kind of it goes off into nature. But
Yeah.
without talking too much about the plot, I think this show, I think animation is great, like you say. I think the characters, I think all the characters are pretty interesting. Rudius is a very interesting character. His father is, because even though his father is a scumbag, he's done a lot of great things in his past. So you're kind of curious to see like what he did. And I think the pacing of the show is very good as well. You kind of always want to see what happens next. It's
Yeah.
yeah, like the more you dive down deep into the show, it's hard to point to one specific thing that just makes this show great. Like it's because it's like there's nothing in here that you, I guess, like haven't seen before, but
Uh-huh.
it's just the way the show, I guess, flows and the way the plot goes is just so effortless, so effortless. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's great.
It does it well. It does it well. Like that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, it's one of those shows that's kind of hard to describe, but like it does everything perfectly to the point where you're just like, yeah, this is pretty good. I do admit that I it did kind of get not repetitive, but I did feel like that stereotypical isekai vibe when he got transported. So him and that girl and the dude when they
Mm,
were like transported to the
yeah.
other place, when they're trying to like relearn the whole world and all that kind of stuff. I did feel like a little bit bored during that part, but it picked itself up like towards
um,
the end as well too. So I
Yeah,
mean,
I'll be
some pros and cons.
honest. I kind of wish that they didn't get transported at the end of the
Yeah, that's the
series.
thing. Like, kind of wish they stayed in that same world the entire time.
Yeah. I liked, he was in his village and he got transferred over to his cousin's house. He was over there. They were learning. I was like, okay, I like where this is going. At this point when he's in his cousin's house, he has to kind of manage. He's learning about the Greyheart family name, how there's different factions in the Greyheart. He's trying to deal
Yeah,
with like trying to deal with being liked by the grandfather, try to be liked by the mother. I guess his cousin, I guess his aunt and his uncle.
yeah,
Trying to gain their favor. And he's trying to learn how to be a teacher. He's really trying to like build himself and build his character. And then he kind of gets transported to like a different region, and that's where I
yeah.
started to get. I felt like the that like that cringe isekai ness. That's where I started to feel. I was like, I don't know how I feel about
It's
this.
like a
I
double isekai. It's like an isekai within an isekai.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you guys needed to do this. I think the route you were going was fine. So you know, I'm curious to see where the show goes next for the second season. But it overall, I think it was absolutely fantastic. I think it was it was I think it was probably a sleeper of the season. I don't think many people saw this show. I think maybe people should definitely give the show a chance.
Yeah, this is winter 2021 did have a couple sleeper hits, like this show, Wonder Egg Priority. I'm trying to think of other shows that were sleepers, but
I
it
don't know.
it had some hits that were in there.
I don't know if One Egg's a sleeper.
So
I don't know about that one, but
you said what?
I said I
You said
don't know if
Wonder Egg's a sleeper?
I said I don't know if One Egg Priority is a sleeper or not. I don't know. I've got some
Oh,
choice words about that show.
okay. I mean, I haven't finished it yet. I haven't finished it yet. Well, I do admit I did see a lot more when it comes to Wonder Egg Priority being like advertised a little bit more than Jobless. But yeah,
Yeah,
like overall, Winter 2021 did have like a lot of sleep.
yeah, yeah. I agree. So I mean, with this show, I think decent characters, decent animation, decent plot. I would you rate this show?
I give it an 8.
Yeah, I think I'd give it an 8 as well. No higher
It
than
could
an
have got
8.
like a 9, but with that whole like a double isekai, like it kind of
Yeah,
threw me off. But
yeah,
it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good.
yeah. I think it's an 8. I think if you really like the fantasy genre, because I before I wasn't a fan of fantasy. Like I really didn't like the genre too much, but I'm really starting to get into it. If you really like fantasy and you like and you don't like that typical, oh, we gotta defeat the demon king or we gotta defeat the knight, or instead they're kind of just trying to talk about the world and trying to have some genuine good world building that this show does, and I think you'll really like this show. It's I think it's a master at world building, and that's why I like the show. I think that's what it is. I think it's the world building is far superior than most isekai shows, and I think that's why that's what makes the show great. So yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Our final score for this show is gonna be an 8 out of 10. Yes, sir. Any other closing remarks for the show?
Uh, nah, I think I don't really have. Oh, one thing I before we go, one thing I did enjoy about the show. I don't think we talked about it. It can get pretty dark really quick. That's one thing I noticed about that show. It can get pretty dark, you know. It
Mm,
can be all like fun and happy, but then things can just go dark real quick. Like
mm,
that one episode where the girl got kidnapped,
the
and
kidnapping.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like beating her up, and yeah, like that surprised me. But
That
yeah,
was dark.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the reason why I did like that's the reason why like I really enjoy this show too. It's really unpredictable and it can get pretty dark. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, other than that, I don't really have much bad things to say about the show.
nah,
Shout out to the guys
it's
at
pretty
Jobless,
good.
man. Shout
Yeah,
out to the guys,
I think that's
man.
the first anime they've made. So congrats to them.
Where
They did it pretty well.
Congrats to them, man. 8 out of 10, man. All right.
Yeah,
But that's it for the video. Like, comment, subscribe. We Dcentos, Dcentos underscore and everywhere, man. Follow the boy Straw Hat Yomo. That's Straw
yo,
Hat
yo,
Yomo on
yo.
Twitter, right? Straw Hat Yomo
Yeah,
on
Straw Hat
Twitch.
Yomo on Twitter, Straw Hat Yomo on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and yeah.
All right, yeah. All right, man. We we out of here.
All right.